Let's take a roll call. Commissioner Stubblefield? I'm not seeing her online. She's not here in person. Commissioner Bowens?
Here.
Commissioner Glover?
Here.
Commissioner Wade?
Here.
And I'm here, so we got 4. I declare that a quorum. The minutes are before us. Are there any additions or subtractions to them?
I'll make a motion that you just provided.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Glover to approve as written. Got a second by Commissioner Bowens. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let it be known that that carries. All right, let's jump right in. Number 1 on the agenda is our finance director to present a balanced budget amendment number 9. Turn it over to Jody.
Okay. These are basically items that you all approved at last month's meeting for the drive-up window for your trustee and your county clerk, and then their site work for the project. So to simplify it, we just put the capital expenditure for various and the trustee for the $14,099, and for the county clerk the $9,712, and then the remainder of the 40 where there's going to be the site work, we're putting that in Joe's budget under 799, and we're IDing everything as local government direct appropriation grant, because we did get these funds, and I know for certain we're going to have to prove where we spent them.
What I understood.
So all these will have LGDAG after them. This was part of the extra $266,000 that was received.
But we don't need to take.
I think we'll need to vote on it.
Yeah,
We'll need a motion
take
to
it the
approve.
commission.
All right. Also move.
I've got a motion to approve by Commissioner Glover. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Commissioner Wade. Commissioner Stubblefield's absent. Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
The chair votes aye, so 4 ayes have it. Number 2 on the agenda, I'm going to turn it over to our finance director to present balanced budget number 10 for the sale of the old ambulance and insurance recovery funds.
New agenda or the other agenda?
I'm looking at the updated.
I'm looking for it's not updated. Wasn't how that happened, but okay. Number 10. That's where they got $12,300 at EMS, and we're putting it back under their various capital outlay. And also in their insurance recovery, there was a lightning strike. There's $5,181 in a check, and the EMS committee has requested to go ahead and put these funds back into the ambulance service budget. And then on the last item, it's where the animal control had an employee that went from part-time to full-time. And we did all of the estimations for the medical insurance based on that first payroll in July. And this employee did not get a paycheck till the second payroll in July. So we're needing to put some expenditures for the insurance and the animal control. And I had put an extra $170,000 in the sheriff because he's got so many people coming and going. That's what that budget amendment is.
Make a motion we approve.
I've got a motion to approve.
Resolution number 10.
Commissioner Glover. I've got a second by Commissioner Bowens. Any more questions? Commissioner Stubblefield's absent. Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, so 4 ayes have it. Next on the agenda is budget amendment number 11, the retaining wall work at the Archives Department.
Okay, basically, Building and Grounds approved all that, and then the bill has come in. I think, it was approved to spend around $14,000 and change, but Trey, the county engineer, he's got a bill for $9,050. We're taking the funds out of the reserve for archives and putting the money in her budget so we could make the payment.
I make a motion we approve.
I got a motion to approve by Commissioner
Resolution
Glover,
ordinance.
Okay.
second by Commissioner Bowens. Any more questions? Let's vote. Commissioner Stubblefield's absent, so Commissioner Glover,
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens, Commissioner Wade.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the 4 ayes have it. Next on the agenda is fiscal year 2021 budget required for the community development, the Robertson County Economic Development Board, Red River Preserve, Fund 172 per state auditors. Let Jody discuss this.
Okay, this is where the auditors are wanting the county to put any monies that received as a local revenue stream, they want a budget. So not only am I doing the budget amendment like this, they're gonna want me to put this in the bound budget document. I know it's doing something different, but in all sincerity, it's probably a good idea to have this so y'all know that there's funds sitting there for the Red River Preserve. Their fund balance ended on June 30 at $3,044,754. And basically all that I've done is I'm putting the same amount of money that was received in the 20 budget in here as revenue. And of course, we never have any expenses out of this fund unless you all approve an actual resolution allowing them to spend it, because it's supposed to be for Red River Preserve. The next one on this same deal I'm doing for the 263, that's our self-funded medical insurance. We did a budget last year, so to be consistent, I'm doing another one this year. And these are basically similar numbers because our insurance didn't increase.
They don't have a number on them. Do we need to approve them, or how do we?
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
these are like original budgets. That's why
Yeah.
they're not an amendment. Their original budget, like for Fund 172, and then original budget for Fund 263.
there'll be resolution numbers on when it comes to commission floor.
Yeah.
And how do we identify them right now?
Well, we can approve one of them as a Red River Preserve Fund and then the other as a self-insurance fund 263.
I so move.
I've got a motion to approve the Red River Preserve Fund 172 and the self-insurance fund 263. Do I hear a second? I got a second by Commissioner Bowens. Any more questions or discussion? Ready to vote? Commissioner Stubblefield's absent. Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens? Chair votes aye, so the ayes have it. And number 5, I'm going to turn that over to you, Jody. That's to inform the committee about the resolution number ending in 458 to accept the local government
Okay.
COVID relief.
On this one, you'll notice that there's a check that we received. They're calling it the local government direct appropriation grant. This is where you all did a resolution back in May and allocated $1,050,683, and actually an additional $266,889 has come in. But just wanted to let everybody know that the funds are here, and this is nothing to do with COVID. It's basically to do with the resolution, how you allocated it, and you're able to allocate the additional 266 how you see fit. And you'll notice in number 9, the budget amendment number 9, we've already used 40 of that.
When will you be dispersing the rest of the funds for those items that we approved already?
When will we be dispersing them?
Yeah.
Well, it was talked about that y'all were gonna do, the budget amendments in December. So until budget amendments are made on those that were in that resolution, you can't disperse the funds.
That's what I'm asking. So we have to wait until we do a budget amendment.
Yes, and you got the sheriff is requesting it to be done sooner than December.
And I'm sitting here thinking of the same thing. We've got the money. We got some things that we need to do. I know these fire departments would like to get a hold of those checks, but I got a point there. I don't think we should disperse the checks to the county, to the fire departments. I think they ought to present bills to us to pay. And the reason being, I've been told, and if there's any fire committee people in here, I've been told that we've got some cities that are taking our money and not supporting our fire departments with it.
When we made the original resolution, though, was that part of it? Or did we
No.
just say we was gonna give them?
We just indicated, my understanding, what I remember is we just indicated 20,000 to each volunteer fire department. And I just think if the city is gonna take it and keep it, I have a problem with that.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I think we need to know that it's being spent on fire services.
Well, I've been told that we've got one city in particular that's not spending money.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all my 2 cents.
Well,
Well, that's what-
do we need to take, do we not take any formal action?
It's right now,
We don't have any resolutions in
we don't have
front of
anything
us.
to do it with. yeah.
We did say that we were gonna disperse like EMS, Sheriff's Department for the cars and ambulance in December. Now, if we wanna do it earlier, we can. I'm gonna tell you, my reasoning to wait a while was because when this new budget comes, they just recently got 6 cars, they're about to get 8. The longer I can keep them from getting it, because this new budget, they're probably not gonna get any. So, and that's
Yeah,
my
we know
thinking.
what's happening.
I mean, that's 14 cars in a year's period, so I think that's plenty. That's my thinking. Y'all wanna give them to them tonight? Give them to them
Yeah, I
tonight?
remember we were behind.
Well, I get that, but 14 cars in a year is a lot.
So the vehicles, it's all based on mileage and providing service, you know.
And we'll, and I'm not saying you're not gonna get any, but
Well, you know, we always justify what we have.
absolutely right.
We'll have
We'll-
the
we'll-
figures y'all look at.
That, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So
But-
the issue that, you know, about moving ahead with it is it takes so long to bid out. You know, I do wanna bid them out. We can't buy a state contract, but I feel better. Let's bid them out. We got 8 vehicles that are marked. Sometimes we can get a better price if we bid them out, than off-state contract. We've been lucky in some years we're not. We'll go with the lowest, whatever it is, but just get the process going so we can go ahead and get those. They only run our cars a couple times a year forward, manufacture those police vehicles, so often they don't run them all the time. Trying to hit them during manufacturing time is the sooner the better. So.
My
But
recommendation
we
is,
never pay for it either until we take delivery of the vehicles.
Let's wait till
They
next
order in
month.
October, should be January.
Well, we don't have any resolutions,
right,
so we gotta wait till
I
next
think we
month
wait
at
till
least.
next month, because if we disperse these, we need to do EMS, we need to do fire departments, we need to do all of them.
To be honest,
So,
the only restriction I have on anything is I just wanna make sure that
let's add that
if the money's
for
going outside the county,
our October agenda.
then we need to control it a little bit more.
Next month will be fine with us, because like I said, we're not gonna write any checks till the cars
Yeah.
come in, that's
Okay.
in January, February probably, but if y'all are okay with it, we'd just like to go ahead and do the bid process and get that rolling. It's gotta go out, we wait a while before we get any numbers back in.
I'm perfectly fine with that. We'll have your resolutions hopefully next month, if that's okay.
Be great, appreciate it.
So you're telling him to go ahead and put them out for bids?
Well, the money's his, and we know where he's getting it, so,
It's already in our account.
yeah, it's already in our account, so let him go ahead and do what he's gotta do, and we'll have him a resolution next month, and funds will be released, because he's not gonna need until then,
I
right?
was gonna say, we won't pay anything out of those funds until the people show up.
All right.
So just put that one on the October agenda,
Yes,
actually
ma'am.
prepare the resolution, prepare a budget amendment.
Yes, and we need to go ahead and do that for ambulance, and we need, for EMS, to get them an ambulance, we need to do it for, and we'll need to discuss what we're gonna do with
Yeah.
fire, and, I think Chad's got some money coming to him for IT and highway department, so. And I'm gonna tell you, we've got some money left over. We're in dire need of a loader at solid waste, so I hope y'all consider spending some of this money on that. She really needs 2 of them. I'm not gonna lie to you, we don't have the money for 2, but she needs 1 right away. And am I wrong there, Commissioner
No,
Glover?
you're right. I mean,
It's,
the newest one we have is 6 years old.
yeah.
So,
So we can talk about that next month as well, or just whenever, so.
Questions? Okay.
All right. And next thing I have on the agenda is, I think Our finance director is going to inform the committee about the extensive research about our county direct deposit payroll tax deposit accounts.
Okay. So basically, after spending time talking with 3 local banks and getting the detailed information, I got a lot of detailed information from Reliant Bank, and it was basically broken out that what's happening is the county was getting a $10,000 credit from US Bank, but because the COVID-19 and the interest have gone down, we're basically not getting that. We will get that in time whenever the interest rates go back and things level off. So we will end up going back to not being charged. But for right now, she realized after I did all my research, I thought I need to reach out back to US Bank, because changing the bank accounts is going to be a huge undertaking on my department, and it causes me a lot of concern for all the unknowns that can arise whenever you're doing a changeover. I'm just coming off of a big changeover from a software for 2.5 years ago on the local government for our general ledger and purchasing, and then about 1.5 years ago on the payroll, and it's been very trying. So at this point, I'm thinking we should just stay with US Bank. She's allowing a deferment. We don't have to pay the money until next year. So I feel sure that the best choice would be for us to just remain with US Bank.
We have to pay the fees, she's deferring it till next year?
Yes, what has happened is we didn't find out about them until the budget was done.
Yeah.
So they felt like that wasn't our fault. So she would defer those to next year's. Yes, and there's fees being charged by the other banks. The only one bank that didn't say they had fees on there gave me a quote, and it was vague. I've got a little booklet here. And actually, this bank where I got it, where the one bank said there was no charge, there was no details on this at all. And she thought that maybe we should do an actual formal bid. So if we go back and revisit this, if things don't work out, then the next year we can maybe revisit the formal bid. Because I did get this from her. We've all looked at it, and it doesn't say I'm getting 6 bank accounts and that they're doing all the direct deposit. It's just kind of a real generic. It made me feel a little concerned because I've got 3 banks that are going to charge. And there's one bank that's not, and I don't have any details. So it makes me concerned that if we really do change, I need to have a formal bid document. So right now, I'm just going to recommend that to stay with US Bank. Too much other things are going on with the COVID-19, and I just think at this point, everything that I've learned, it's best to stay with US Bank.
Now, if we approve your request, then when are we gonna look at it again? You say next year at budget time?
If we need to, if things don't settle out and we're still having to pay funds, we could probably look at it again, but my thought.
Interest rates will have to go up
Yeah.
before this will happen, and we don't know when that'll happen.
Yeah.
But yes, I think maybe take a look at it around budget time again, see where we stand. I agree with what Ms. Stewart's saying. I think that it's a huge undertaking for no more savings than it is, or possibly none at all. I mean, we don't know.
But you're telling us that they will be accruing fees that we will have to pay, accruing fees every month from now through the end of the year that we'll have to pay next year sometime, on top of whatever they might charge us next year.
Is it close to $5,000 was?
Yeah, it's the $5,000 fee we've already talked about. And like I said, they had been giving us a $10,000 a year credit, and I verified that with another banker. And his fees were going to be the same $500. And he said, well, they made a business decision. They would try to go in if they thought they could help us and do it for $250. And he was only going to guarantee me that for 1 year. So I'm just kind of feeling like it's an unfortunate thing that happened with the COVID-19, but if they go back to where we haven't been charging anything for like 28 years, I don't know. I just feel like we owe it to everybody, the employees. It's best thing for Robertson County to just
How much floated we got? That's what the banking, I would be interested off of.
Right, right.
Balances.
And of course, interest is nothing now.
If you
Well,
look,
I agree. Where's the balances at though in this account?
well, she's given you a detail on here where she talks about they have a target interest rate from 1.35% in August. It went down to 0.45% in March, and then to 0.2 in May.
Our 12-month average, is that right? 738,000? Is that what I'm looking at? Monthly balance, our ledger balance?
That's what I'm looking for.
That's what, I'm looking at our ledger balance, 12-month average.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I don't see it. I don't see the average.
Right. Under accountability.
I see it.
Yeah, average balance, slow down. So,
My understanding from this bank right here, because I talked to them, that there would be no fees of any kind, everything was free and there were no fees.
yes, ma'am, that's exactly what she said, but she does not say it when you read this. She just makes it seem like it's a real generic bank account. She doesn't tell me I've got 6 bank accounts.
Yeah, 'cause
She
knew
doesn't
that
tell
there
me
were-
that I'm gonna do, anything to do with,
We got 6 accounts.
all the direct deposit. And,
I don't know.
she wanted me to give her like a bid sheet that I'd never done.
Yeah.
So,
And I told her that came from security
Is it,
and,
is all that in-house? Farmers Bank do their, all's in-house?
I don't know for sure, that's not in there, that it's done in-house.
it's not done in-house, but any problems or concern is in-house. They will do it, anything that's wrong, that they will solve it in Portland.
That's very concerning, because the US Bank is in-house. I think, for sure Reliant is, and I'm not positive what, Volunteer told us. So then from when we looked at it about a dozen or better years ago, so then it's the same way, they have a
Yeah, but-
third-party service.
But if you have any problems with anything, they will solve it. You know, they will solve it without any question. It won't go to a third party. It'll never go to a third party for you. Any problems that are going on will be between you and Farmers Bank.
Do y'all have problems arise with who we're with now? Where you,
US Bank has really actually been golden, and when we changed some software, I don't remember, 8 or 10 years ago, maybe more than that, but Karen Bigelow remembered that. The software caused everybody's money to go in their bank account about a week early, and it was quite a few $1 million, and US Bank rose to the occasion and stuck the couple, $2-3 million in there. I just know that my experience with them has been positive. I was very disappointed to know that I was being charged from 0 to 500. And she ended up explaining to me that basically all their people are having to pay a fee. Even people that had lots more money in their accounts. She said the COVID has caused them to pay a fee. She mentioned there might have been 2 banks where they were under some sort of contract and they were forced to allow no services being charged.
well, in my opinion, if we stay where we're at right now, that gives us plenty of time till next budget to do some research from farmers and various others. And if we feel like the change needs to be made, we can do it.
Well, if we're gonna bid it formally, which I think we ought to,
Yeah, that's
we need
it.
to go on and start spelling out what we're gonna
I
require.
don't have any real time to be doing that, but in all sincerity, she did
Well, then how are we
quite a
gonna bid it out if nobody's got time to do it?
I don't have time to do it right now. I plan on maybe doing it after I get my 1095Cs done and my W-2s.
You need-
Which
you
will
need to wait till
coincide.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
about
okay.
February, yeah.
So
And
the new budget.
And I'm-
But we're not
and
gonna
Taylor's probably gonna
implement
be out
it
till
probably
June,
by
so this will probably roll on my shoulders.
Yeah.
My purchasing agent will be out till probably.
And I
June.
understand about changing banks. It
Yeah,
is.
It was-
Why do we
nightmare.
have 6 accounts?
We're forced to because of the Affordable Care Act.
Affordable Care requiring us to have 6 bank accounts.
And that's when all this problems arose back in 2014. I went 2 bank accounts forever. And because of the Affordable Care Act, and you got the school system has their insurance with their discounting, and you got 911 has their insurance with their discounting, and the county has theirs, it would be considered discrimination, and there'd be all kinds of penalties we would suffer with the IRS.
I don't understand why they would require 6 accounts.
So we were forced
I
there.
don't know what they
What
benefit
is the
from it.
benefit?
Yeah,
It's 3 different EIN numbers, and 2 of the accounts are direct deposit, and then you have the EFTPS, the electronic tax payment
So you're
system.
putting them in different, everything's in different accounts for every,
Yeah,
one of those different things.
Yeah, you do payroll taxes and direct deposit, and then you got 3 separate employer
That
ID.
It wasn't your idea, was it?
Well,
This was a
I
horrible thing on
Yeah,
us to
yeah,
make the
sure,
change. It
I'm
was
sure.
huge undertaking to
just
change
couldn't,
it
I
all.
couldn't understand why 6 accounts. I could understand schools being separate and county accounts, but I couldn't understand 6.
We do the
Okay.
bookkeeping for 911.
Okay.
All right, so don't we need to formalize what, you need to present us with a resolution, that sounds like to me, of what action we are taking either today or at our next meeting.
Well,
So
we're not changing it.
If everything stays the same, we don't
I
have to do
just think we
anything.
need to
Well,
authorize you to
But
wait.
I think we'll need,
Yeah.
if this committee wants to further look at it around budget time, then you may want to put it on record that that's what we're going to do.
Well,
Well,
I-
it seems to me,
I would think we should do that, just so it would be in our minutes. I mean, we don't have to do it today,
well,
maybe do it next month. Jody
That's fine.
could,
that's a,
you know,
That's fine.
present us something in a,
well,
you know, one page or less.
I agree. I think we ought to eventually do a formal bid request from the major banks. But right now, we don't need to do anything, and she doesn't have the time to do a formal bid request. So, but we do need to decide, when do we want to see that? Because I think I would like to see what the bid request is gonna look like. And if we're gonna wanna try to implement it by July of next year, then we need to be thinking about, she's gonna be in the budget cycle and all the problems, all the work there. She's not gonna have time. We're looking at a year from now, probably.
So, do we want to put this on our agenda for next month to hash out dates, or do you want to do it tonight?
That's fine.
Next month?
Well,
We can think about it a little bit
Okay,
between now and
that's
then.
kind of what I thought.
And Jody can give us some ideas of what was best for her. Because we're gonna be facing, I understand you're facing year end and all the problems of getting W-2s and everything out. You don't have enough time between now and then to do it. And then we go straight into, after a couple of months, you're going straight into budgets.
And we gotta figure out what's gonna be on the bid specs. I mean, this is not something you can just call up and say,
Yeah, that's what's
it's gonna be time
concerning
consuming.
me.
Well, I'm kind of hopeful that US Bank will help me with that. I know they will be writing specs that, you know, they may lose our business,
Well,
but
Jody, let me say something. US Bank will write those specs to their benefit, so be careful. I know you love US Bank, but I don't have a lot of good feelings about US
no,
Bank.
I'm not gonna say I love US Bank.
Well,
I just
you've been
know that
supporting
they've
them
done
awful
very
hard.
fair.
She's
I'm
had no
supporting
issues.
them.
with it.
She's had no
And-
issues
And when a department has no issues, it's hard to leave them, and I get that.
It's very
Wow.
scary because we've had incidents where, when a payroll thing got done incorrectly, and alls it was, there was actually 2 in my time being here. There was one, and my assistant director will remember it, Tracy. She wasn't told you weren't supposed to take deductions on the 3rd check for your
I understand.
cafeteria workers, and we had to cut checks for those people.
Mhm.
And then the other lady that left, Betty Dixon, she did some TSAs, and your wife might remember that, Suzanne Glover and all that, that these TSAs they weren't pre-tax. And the wrath of a horrible scenario came
Hey,
through.
look, I know payroll, and I understand that you're dealing with people's money, and you can.
They're not forgiving.
No, it's not a forgiving thing when you make a mistake. But all I'm saying is, US Bank will write those to their benefit. And I just say, let's make sure and look, and let another bank or 2 have an opportunity to look at that and make suggestions.
I
Well, I
don't
just
have a
don't- I
problem
don't
letting
trust
2 or 3 other banks look at it, because that's what we did. And Reliant Bank really verified everything that US Bank told me.
Okay, well, that's good. If you do that, I'll feel better.
Okay.
Well, let's move on. And that's all we've got on this agenda. Do we have any old business to discuss? I've got one piece of new business. Last night, the Building and Grounds approved a $4,500 Clover Engineering to come in and give us a price on running what we think a sewer line will cost across the county property for Mr. Combs. We'll need to make a motion contingent upon the IDB voting to use the money out of Red River Reserve. I have reached out to Margot. It sounded like something that they were more than happy to work with. But course, IDB will have to approve this, so we'll probably need to do that.
So we need a motion
Contingent upon,
contingent upon them approving it.
that is correct.
So move.
I've got a motion to approve,
Second.
second by Commissioner Glover. Any more discussion? Let's vote. Commissioner Stubblefield,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowens, Commissioner Glover,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Chair votes aye, the ayes have it. Any other business or any other discussion?
You said you had reached out to her, or you,
Yes, I reached out to her via email. She's on vacation this week,
okay,
so she's gonna turn it over to Miss Blackburn, the, I guess, chairman of the IDB, and then they'll get together when she's back in town and
okay.
get this moving forward.
I got one thing I'd like to bring up.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure, Ridgetop's asked me who to send the check to.
I was
Once I
gonna say,
get,
if I could brief y'all on Ridgetop just real quick. if you got
Absolutely.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brief the committee. So 3 things. Number 1, we got our MOU payment was dropped off today for
Mhm.
the next year. So that's
that
been
takes you
paid.
through February of
One, I think.
what I was
Yeah,
told.
I think it's 22. So, that's been taken care of. They closed out their drug control fund, with the city was around $12,000. That money had to go to law enforcement, so they cut a check for our drug fund for 12,000, some change. We received that today. Last week, I heard a rumor going around that, they had sold a crane in Ridgetop and there's $300,000 coming to the sheriff's office. I hadn't heard any of that, so we reached out to the mayor, last week and just asked him what was going on with that. It wasn't one crane, they had like 20-something pieces of equipment that come off of a federal program that's called the Law Enforcement Support Office, LESO. It's managed, through the, surplus property at the state, Elbert Baker. And all that equipment that they had, some of it the state had to take back. Some of it could be transferred to another law enforcement agency if they wanted. I think Greenbrier got some pieces of equipment. And then the rest of it that they said they could sell it, but that money has to be earmarked for law enforcement only. So they have sold that.
Has somebody told you that it was, had to be law enforcement? Because I heard that if they had wanted, it had no restrictions against the balance. It could be used for anything they wanted. Ridgetop just did not want the money. They wanted it out of their
No,
account.
it's restricted to law enforcement purpose. That's why it's the law enforcement support office.
Well, that's
Elbert
what I was
Baker,
told different.
we double checked with Elbert today at the state just to make sure we could accept the money as the county company, but we've never had this happen before.
Yeah.
So Elbert said, yes, we could accept it because we are the agency that's providing the law enforcement services in Ridgetop. And that money has to be spent for law enforcement purposes, and we gotta track that. He's gonna send an email probably tomorrow outlining what it, the specifics of what it can be used for. So we're expecting to get that paperwork from the state tomorrow, with that, so. He said there's like $330,000 in there. They have some transportation costs for this
Right.
equipment that they can deduct from that amount to pay for, which he said could be anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000, something like that.
My understanding is they're trying to get a confirmation if they can deduct the money before they give us a
So I think
check.
they're working with their accountants or something like that.
They've got some disclosure stuff that they've got to put in their
We're
financials.
looking at around $300,000.
It could be real close.
One-time money,
Well,
could be used for law enforcement purposes. Of course, we're on the front end of this. I don't like to count my chickens before they hatch.
Well, they're pushing me to find who to write the check to.
Jody just said Robertson County Government.
That's
And
what I told them.
She's got it earmarked where it would go into $799 from Ridgetop.
I told them if they send it to Jody, she'd give it to you.
Yeah, so we got that worked out. Todd said he's gonna be back with us once he knows the final figure when they're ready to.
Now, I think there's some
Whatever
money
comes
still
counts out.
waiting on some money to come in off
That
the
may be
last second.
correct. So I said, we're not in a huge rush to,
What,
if they were willing to cut portions,
For the
I'd do
tractor
it all
supply,
at once.
electric and all that, that's gonna be done.
Sheriff, I had heard there's another
Oh,
2 pieces
yes.
of equipment waiting to
Well,
be sold.
we think about
There's a
putting
Harley
over
and something
No,
else.
it's all
Do
sold,
we
every
need
bit
to
of
do any
it.
of that tonight?
Every bit of it's
Money for
gone.
electric-
He acted like everything was sold, and just had some
Yeah.
finance. Okay. I think I was different from that. I also
Yes.
was told that it would be general funds and not earmarked. So I think
I was told pretty
I'll bring that up.
straight to me that there were no restrictions on these funds, that they could be used. That these the ones that had to be done, that's the reason the state took those back. I was told on these, the city could do anything. City doesn't want it. They said it was, well, there's a lot of reasons they don't want it. and they wanted to come to you because you're providing care, but I was told the money could be used in other
Did you
places.
check on that today?
That's what the state told us, it has to be law enforcement purposes. Everything we've ever done with the LISO program, any
Yeah.
equipment we've had, we either had to give it back to the state for them to dispose of, or we had to use that money for law enforcement.
Well, I was told because these were not being returned to the state, that the money was free. It was freed up,
That-
illegal stuff from one. And I've got an
They
email
had
from
to
this
have,
guy.
that was a big deal, I think, when they had their police department, they were selling that stuff, they had to use it for their police department.
You know,
That funds had to be earmarked for that. Like I said, the state's supposed to send us an email outlining that, hopefully we'll get that tomorrow.
you know, I've got a
These
copy.
are
Who's
one-time
the
funds, and I
guy?
think they should be used for one-time funds, some of the ideas we had, we had some things on our
Is it-
capital projects, one-time funds for training improvements, for our range and facilities and things like that, so. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now, but like I said, this had kind of hit us last week, we didn't expect that to happen, so.
Well, they've been talking about it for about 3 months, 4 months up there.
It's a
And
good
we're trying to
problem.
get rid of it, to do something with it. Because they don't want, that when this administration goes out, they're trying to get everything cleaned up, the
Yeah.
messes.
Feds
If you ever
really
saw all the
were-
equipment fellas, y'all have drove back there and seen, they had everything you can imagine back there.
Feds will come down hard on you in this program if you're not doing exactly
Well,
what.
who's the guy you're talking to at the state?
Albert Baker.
That's who's sent me a message.
Thank you for the update. We've got some,
We got some
we got
questions.
some, well, yeah, and y'all worked that,
I need to talk to.
yeah.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with, he talked to someone from the state today, so that's all we can go by.
That's the same guy's talking to him, sent us me an email.
Well, then,
So we need to,
we can,
we
between
need
us.
to, I always want to talk to you about it because there's one issue I'd like to talk to you about.
It was something we slipped up, and it should have been on this agenda, but I forgot all about it. But we've, in building your grounds last night, we have got an issue with electricity out at the, what I call the Tractor Supply building. And Trey does not have enough money to handle it in that $70,000 budget. We do have money left over from when we was gonna do the
The original
the
renovation.
original renovation, that we can move funds over to take care of this.
There's-
And we're probably gonna need to do that, because I imagine you're gonna need money between now and our next meeting.
Sure. I'll get it from Greg.
All right,
What was that?
There's a footnote at the
What's
bottom of
How
this
much was
letter.
that done in there?
So, they put another footnote.
Yeah, we've got, how much do we have there?
We have $39,741.76 left after he submits everything.
I know that Trey last night said that it could be up to $20,000.
But he don't, it could,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We don't,
It
but
could
I
be-
thought the leftovers about $1,500-$1,600.
he's got 1,500 left.
There's 1,500 left in the 70, and then the total overall that was left when you put the original money in there, because you were all gonna do renos for the election, total overall, that 15's including, it's 39,000 and change.
I'm not really sure how to go about this, because we don't know if it's gonna be 20, 15, 35, we don't know what it's gonna be. So what would your recommendation be to make sure that we've got this covered?
If you all make a motion to, allow him to spend whatever extra funds were, allocated for renovations for that building, if that would be okay.
well, it should not to exceed a certain amount. I mean,
Well, it can't exceed the
Yeah,
total we have
Original
here.
budget,
Yeah.
original amount.
31,000.
Yeah, can't exceed that.
It's like cutting up a rabbit. What's on one piece, what's left, you put back where you.
And here's the thing, it's gotta be done if it costs 55,000.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to find money to do it.
Because we can't sell it until we
Right,
do.
right.
Well,
So
but we need to go ahead and make a resolution,
I would go ahead and approve up to this full amount here.
all right? You said it was 39?
I've got 39,000 and change, and then actually, there's still another 10,000 and change left on that, train energy efficiency when you all finished out the, elevator. And so I'm hoping we could somehow get whatever's clean. Give you an exact number. Well, I'm missing a couple of bills from Trey, but I think this will be close to accurate as possible.
Trey, when is he coming out?
It's 50,000.
Supposed to be there by mid-September, around the 15th September. And he said he would be there a couple of days doing his analysis and testing.
But we don't know when, whatever comes back, we don't know when he'll get on the work. Is that correct?
He was wanting to try to go ahead and do it shortly thereafter.
Perfect.
It's technically $50,164.28.
He says all he likes is electricity down there, and he says it's less than 20,000. What if he runs into some miscellaneous stuff that we do not know about, less than a couple thousand?
That's why,
Can he still take that and then handle?
that's why
I
we're
don't want
transferring.
to close it all.
No, we're gonna transfer this 50,000 over to that project. If he needs it all, we'll have to use it all.
With his discretion.
Absolutely.
Is that what y'all saying? That's cool to me.
We don't know what we're gonna run
That's
into.
right.
Well, he won't have to come back. That's what he's saying.
All right, you gonna make,
He's got
He only
this-
goes over that.
He's got this sum of money. If he goes over, he's gotta come back.
we're gonna, that's your motion.
It's gonna be your motion?
Leave my motion, yeah, we need to
Second.
get it in the record.
All right. Commissioner Glover moved that we're gonna move that 50,164.28. Is that correct?
Yes.
Over to this project. And I've got a second by Commissioner Stubblefield. We have any more discussion about this? Ready to vote? Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner, Mr. Stubblefield. The chair votes aye. The ayes have it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if we don't have
Let's
anything
adjourn.
else.
I'll
Motion
make
to
that
adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Kate,
Thank you.